We have a spread of weather impacts across West Texas with breezy and even fire weather concerns for our western counties with severe storms often towards the east today. This is going to be ahead of that storm system that's approaching, which is going to keep us relatively into an active pattern, especially as we work in towards Easter weekend. But at least for today, I do anticipate we'll probably see our strongest storms today and possibly even some of our windier conditions. But I do anticipate we'll even be windy as we head in towards the weekend. Here's currently where our storm system is. We have a lot of energy and already a lot of action happening with some showers and even some thunderstorms and some snow over towards the high country into Colorado. As this storm system approaches, it will begin to pick up more of our winds, especially for our western counties along into near Carlsbad, Hobbs, and Van Horn. We're talking gusty winds for the wind advisory between around 45 to 55 miles per hour today. That's between around 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. High wind warning, that's going to remain in effect also to 11 p.m. today for those gusty winds up between near 60 to 70 miles an hour. Into the basin, I think we'll keep those gusts up to near 30 to 35 miles per hour today. As we'll see a dry line that will be able to push off and towards the east, and the eastern Permian Basin will be the kickstart of when we'll be able to see those severe storms move off and towards the east. So the severe threat is going to be a little bit on the lower end. I'm talking quarter-sized hail, maybe some gusty winds near 60 miles an hour. But the more storms as they push off and towards the east into the big country Concho Valley, we have a lot more moisture and a bit more of a favorable environment where we could even see some larger hail. And we just can't even rule out a brief isolated spin up, especially if those storms still stay rather discreet and isolated alongside some gusty winds near 60 to 70 miles an hour, especially further north where we do have an enhanced risk clipped along into the northern portions of the big country. But overall, the higher severe threat, at least for this event today, will be heading towards Oklahoma. So if you have any family members up in that direction, you would just want to go ahead and give them a heads up as well. Taking it back home though, we'll see those storms initiate into the Permian Basin pretty much into around the late afternoon, but then they'll begin to push off more into the east, and that's when coverage will increase for the big country Concho Valley with dry conditions for Thursday, and we'll see that other opportunity of rain as we head into Friday. So let's go ahead and track out Wednesday. Around 6:30 p.m. we'll see a few isolated storms begin to initiate off the dry line for the eastern Permian Basin, and they'll begin to push more so often towards the east into a broken line of some showers and thunderstorms. And I think we could see a little bit more multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms, which could even lead to some localized flooding. On top of the severe threat, this is around 12 a.m. and we'll be able to see it get a little bit more defined as it pushes into the eastern big country Concho Valley along into I-35. This is around 4 a.m. and I think by the time we head into around 6 a.m., that's when most of the activity will be out of the region. It will just work with more warm and breezy conditions as we head into Thursday. So now I know we're all thinking about Easter weekend. Let's talk about it. Heading into Good Friday, we do have the threat of some isolated severe storms. I think the severe threat is a little bit onto the low end, but something we're going to keep watching as still as it is a couple days out. We're talking quarter-sized hail and maybe some gusty winds near 60 miles an hour. So I think we'll start with some isolated activity as we work into around late Friday afternoon and towards around the evening. I think we'll get a small break into around the midnight hour, and we'll see that cold front that will be able to come in, bring in some breezy conditions alongside a line of some showers and thunderstorms heading into the morning hours towards your early afternoon. And then after that, at least as we work in towards Easter, we'll look like we'll be able to be a bit on the cool side. Temperatures warming back up into the 60s and 70s, and most of us will likely end up falling back onto the dry side. So out the door right now, it is just a rather dry start, and even warm, in fact, will be dry for the good majority of the day, with temperatures out the door into the 60s and 70s, warming up into the 80s and 90s across the board today. Breezy, especially into the Permian Basin, and could even bring in some blowing dust across portions of the Permian Basin today. But we do have a weather impact alert in effect for San Angelo and Abilene with the threat of those stronger severe storms today. Temperatures, though, will be able to cool off more as we head in throughout the week, especially heading in towards Easter weekend. It is going to be quite blustery as the cold front comes in early on Saturday, so do anticipate some blowing dust behind it alongside a small opportunity of some showers and storms, but it looks like we'll remain dry heading into early next week. Victor?